Johnny Murray here, and welcome back to a brand new review. Today, we're going to be reviewing Doom: The Dark Ages. Man, it's finally here. We finally get to talk about it. I finally played it. I have finished it, and I have a lot to say. We're going to go into a whole bunch of things. This is going to be a normal review. We're going to be doing the good, we're going to be doing the mixed, and we're going to be doing the bad. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. But real quick, before we get started, I do want to just bring up the new channel, Player Way. If you guys took a look at the channel just feed, you probably saw that there was a video uploaded. It's a trailer for a new channel called Player Way. This is a new channel that me and some friends are starting. Right now, it is Jordan, me and Jordan. It is a collaborative channel where we're going to be doing a bunch of content like reviews, gameplay, rankings, podcasts, stuff like that. Whole bunch of different content, but more or less together rather than just me doing it and having special guests come on every now and then. This is a full-on collaborative channel, and so if you guys would love, if you guys could go show support to that channel, make sure you subscribe, follow that. There's a bunch of great stuff. There's already a ton of content up on there right now, including some Doom stuff, including my Doom: The Dark Ages collector's edition unboxing. That's up there, and at the time you're seeing this, the review for that channel will actually be up later today. So make sure you go check all that out. There is a lot of good stuff there, and we're really looking forward to feature that. There's a lot of exciting things coming. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning into this review. If you guys love video games, this is the place to be. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, third-party, PC, VR, indie, whatever it may be. Consider subscribing, share with your friends. We cover video games daily, and we love talking about it. And here we are. And with that being said, let's talk about Doom: The Dark Ages, man. One of my most anticipated games ever, honestly. It lived up to the hype. It's awesome, dude. It is so fun. I absolutely love this game. I think this game, it hit a lot of things that I wanted it to. However, there were some shortcomings, and there were some things that I would definitely consider flaws or things that I didn't necessarily love about it. And we're going to talk about how it shapes up compared to all the other Doom games and just what I think about it, and go over the good, go over the mix, go over the bad. So let's go ahead and let's get started with our Doom: The Dark Ages review. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is, and this is kind of what I talked about in the Player Way review, is that Doom is such an interesting franchise, especially when it's being developed by id Software, which they are just insane. They have such a track record. It's unbelievable. One of the best studios of the of the modern era. Like, I feel like we don't talk about that enough. They are truly innovators, right? Doom is such an interesting franchise where every game doesn't just feel like Doom again. It's sometimes more or less, right? Doom as a franchise, every game stands out on its own, right? There is differences in each that make it feel like its own thing. It's not just, hey, let's just take what we did last time and just build on it. No. Let's just completely rework some things. Let's just completely change how this game operates. Doom 2016, as they've actually explained in their marketing, is more running. We asked you to run and gun. Doom Eternal, we asked you to jump and shoot. In this game, we're telling you to stand and fight. And I feel like that is completely here. And this is so interesting because I've seen a ton of feedback and just reviews about this game. And it's so interesting because people who love Eternal probably aren't going to vibe with this game as much. People who love 2016 are probably going to like it more, but still not as much as 2016. People who don't like either of them are going to love Dark Ages. And people who are just okay on the other two are probably going to love Dark Ages. And that's because every Doom game is so different. It's not just, hey, you like this game, so you're automatically going to love this game. No, because this game plays much different than that one. And this is absolutely prominent here in the Dark Ages. And for me, I love Doom Eternal. I really like Doom 2016. However, I really love this game as well. And so we're going to talk about that getting off, and we got to start with the combat, the gameplay, the thing you go to Doom for other than Doom music, of course. And it is just a home run here. It's a home run. You're getting the most satisfying dopamine rush gameplay in the series yet, in my opinion, and that is what really makes this game shine for me. It's what will probably end up going down as my favorite Doom game, just because this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted the satisfaction of feeling like the Doomslayer and feeling like an absolute boss in this really cool world, and that's exactly what this game is. It hits everything I want out of a Doom game. It doesn't necessarily hit everything I want out of a video game, and I feel like that's going to be an overall consensus throughout this review. Is there is a lot of fundamentally things I would say are weak about this game, but there is so many personal and just fun, exciting things that this game is that just makes it an enjoyable time, even though there are those fundamental flaws. And one of those is the gameplay. You feel like a tank. You feel like a bear. You feel like just an absolute unit in this game. This game goes so far as, if you just fall from a great height, when you land, you create this shockwave, and the sound design will make it sound like a meteor is crashing down, and everything around you just dies because you are that much of a unit. I absolutely love it. When you shield bash, it creates a shockwave that just sends things flying. When you punch somebody, you just hear bones crack and everything. This game is brutal. It is satisfying. It is dope. This game is really, really awesome when it comes to gameplay, and it allows a lot of player freedom. In this game, compared to Doom Eternal, you don't have to switch weapons to defeat certain enemies. In Doom Eternal, you have to switch to a specific gun to defeat certain enemies. In this game, you can kill any enemy with any gun. Some will be easier than others, some will be harder, but you can kill anything with anything. You can generally just choose to play the whole game with one gun if you wanted to. I do think that is a little bit of a downside to some people, and even me. I did find that later on in the game, I was like, man, I wish I really felt like I wanted to use more of these other weapons, because all the weapons in this game I think are really great. I think they did a really great job at adding diversity, uniqueness, and just the fun factor to all of the guns, especially the main ones you want. The shotguns just never get old. The energy rifles I think are really, really fun. Love the new Skull Crusher gun, super awesome. The chain shot I also found was really, really satisfying as well. There's just a lot of great things about the game's weaponry and what they're going for in terms of gameplay. But in this game, you really just get to do whatever you want and just be the Doomslayer in all of his strength and all of his glory, and you absolutely feel it from start to finish. Just the opening mission, they establish you as an absolute beast. Everybody refers to you as like him or the Slayer, or they're gonna use him. Like, everything is just leading up to, yo, you are the real deal. You are the thing that you do not want to mess with. And that kind of goes into the plot. And this is my favorite thing about the game's story, is that they really do set up Doomslayer as a presence in this game. He has a presence. From the opening cutscene to the end, Doomslayer is that guy in this game. And what I love about it is, you know, the whole plot premise is that Doomslayer is a weapon for a faction who they will use if they need to break the glass, if they have to go to a last resort, if they are in desperate measures, if all hope is lost, they send him in and he will do it. That's what it turns out to be. And then throughout the game, you kind of see Doomslayer evolve and transform into his own thing. Like, he is his own character, you know. He isn't owned by a faction. He isn't being used as a weapon. He is just the quote-unquote hero of the game, and you kind of see how he begins his whole solo journey. And I think that is what the origin story basically sets up for this game, because this is a prequel taking place before Doom 2016 and Eternal, and I think that's awesome. I'm more on the story later, but yeah, gameplay wise, it is just phenomenal. The shield is the greatest inclusion in this game. I think the shield is the best feature that they've added in this game. I honestly I'm gonna have a hard time wanting to play another Doom game without the shield, because the shield just does so much, whether it is the platforming, the combat, the defense. Parrying is also in this thing. It uses the shield. Parrying is a big part of this game. It is used a lot, so if you don't like parrying, you may not actually like it. But for me, I enjoyed it. It was a neat thing to add. I don't know if this is a mainstay for me. I don't know if I need to see parrying again in this game, but for me, I enjoyed it. It adds a little bit of uniqueness and diversity to some characters, but for the most part, the gameplay and the combat is great. You do get some open areas in this game that are explorable. I found that enjoyable, at least. And then there are two other big components of this game's gameplay, and that is a giant mech and a flying dragon, and a cyber dragon, whatever you want to call it. I love these segments for how cool it is and for how much I enjoyed like looking at it and the vibe and the excitement and the feeling of doing it. The gameplay, the actual gameplay of those segments is very whatever. We're going to talk about a lot of that later. But I at least enjoyed that they're in here. It just adds a little bit of uniqueness and variety throughout the whole game's pacing, which that leads me to my next thing. This game's pacing is fantastic. Every chapter, there's 22 chapters in the game, took me about 14 hours to complete the whole game. And this game's pacing is phenomenal. Every chapter I feel like does not overstay its welcome. Every chapter I don't feel is rushed. I feel like they really paced these levels out and these gameplay segments out really, really well to where it felt frictionless, going from one chapter to the other, going from segment to segment. Everything was just hitting all the right notes. It was so satisfying, and it just really made me feel like, all right, we're going on to the next thing. Awesome. All right, we're going on to the next thing. It's not like, oh, I wish I did more of that, or man, can we just go on to the next thing? No, I never felt that. I always felt like, all right, that was sick. Let's go to the next thing. All right, that was fun. Let's go to the next thing. Like, really, really well paced. They also give you a lot of weapons starting really, really early, so you kind of are just throughout the whole game just unlocking stuff after stuff after stuff, and it just adds a lot of excitement. Doom just makes that feeling of getting a new weapon and getting a new feature so awesome. It makes it feel like an event, and they did it once again in Doom: The Dark Ages. It's awesome, man. It's absolutely awesome. And I guess the thing I love about Doom, and the thing I love about this game specifically, is, you know, the story, it's whatever. It's been whatever in all the Doom games. The music is obviously great. And the visuals are awesome. But what Doom does better than so many other franchises, especially in the first-person shooter genre, it just is such a vibe. Whether the gameplay is the most complex thing of all time, you can't help but just feel so satisfied and feel just so like a beast when playing this game. It just brings the energy, it brings the vibes, it brings the aura, and Doom: The Dark Ages has all that tenfold. Like, it just delivers on all of that. It just makes you... I'm just so glad I'm here playing this game right now, because I'm just having a blast. I'm really just having a blast. Am I getting the most emotional things ever? No. Am I witnessing gameplay innovation to its absolute finest? No. But I'm having a blast, and that's what matters when it comes to any video game, and that's what mattered to me when playing this video game. I had an absolute blast. That being said, there are things that I don't love about this game. There are things I think that are mixed, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to talk about the mix, and starting off with the OST. I'm really upset that this is in the mixed category, because it should be good. Doom is known for its music, and for me, the music didn't quite hit to the same level as 2016 or Eternals. Granted, this is not Mick Gordon composing this time, but for me, the OST, a lot of the tracks felt very similar. A lot of it felt generic. And there were only a few tracks for me that I was like, oh, this is a banger. There's only been one track where I've actually gone and listened to it outside of playing the game. And that is the main menu music. I absolutely love that track. And don't get me wrong, the music's still good. Like, that's why it's in the mixed category. No Doom music is ever going to be bad, because it's just a vibe. Like, it's fun to listen to. It works with the game really, really well. But I think for what it adds to the game, I don't think it adds much this time around. And that's why it goes in mixed, right? If you want something good in a game, it has to add to it. Just it being there doesn't really add something to a game, and that's why it's mixed for me. Because to me, the music is just there. It didn't really add much to the game. So for me, the OST unfortunately does go in mixed, but you know, again, it's not bad. It's still a good OST. It's just nowhere close to what we probably should have for Doom. And then also what is going to go in the mixed category for me is just the story, I guess, if you even want to call it that. It's really just scenes, really. There really is no plot other than Doomslayer's arc throughout the whole thing, which I think it's okay. It's solid. I like where we started. I like where we ended, right? Especially when it comes to the Doomslayer character. In terms of plot, in terms of characters, in terms of high stakes and emotion and stuff, this game has none of it. The story is very dry when it comes to that. You're going to collect this artifact because it means something. Awesome. All right, cool. I don't know what it means, but we're gonna go do it. You have to fight this guy because he's a big bad. Go fight him. Awesome. It's cool. But where the story really shines is the cutscenes. I think the cutscenes are really fun to look at. The cinematography and just the animations are so smooth, and just seeing Doom Guy do Doom Guy things is awesome, right? You don't go to see, I made this comparison in the Player Way review. You don't go to see a Godzilla movie for human characters. You go to see Godzilla. That's kind of what I'm going for Doom. I don't really care about the rest of the, like, characters. I just want to see Doomslayer do Doomslayer things, and that's what you absolutely get in this game. Granted, I do wish that there were other pieces than just Doomslayer around this story, and there is a character that gets a little bit of, you know, some cool treatment, but they barely do any. Like, I don't know what's up with her. They don't explain her at all, and it's really unfortunate because she looked cool. I liked her power she got, but it just really didn't do much for me, the story, but it was still enjoyable because you are getting that Doomslayer doing Doomslayer things. You're getting some awesome shots. This game feels like a fan service game. There are moments in this game where they will quote things that are just iconic Doom lines. There will be moments where it's like, wow, this is gonna make a hardcore Doom fan lose his mind. Like, there are a lot of fan service moments in this game, and I think it's really, really cool. Also, going on the vibe and the aura of this game, the environments and the things that you're doing are just absolutely awesome. Like, if you look in the distance, you'll see like titans battling it out. You'll see dragons flying ahead. You'll see like wars taking place in cities below you. And so I know I'm kind of talking about good things here in the mixed category. That's because my mind's going rampant. I'm going back to things. There's so many good things in this game. I kind of forgot about it during the good category. So here we are talking about it now. I love the setting of this game. I love medieval. So when I found out Doom was going medieval, I was super duper excited. It absolutely hit on all cylinders for me. I'm so glad we went to medieval. I would love to see another game in the medieval time, but we'll see how that goes. Absolutely love that. And I just love the environments and things that places we're going and the things that we're seeing in this game, the enemy designs, all that stuff just absolutely hit for me. I think it's absolutely great. Now, the next thing in the mixed category for me is the just overall production of the game. Even though I like the cutscenes, I feel like the production sometimes falls flat, where sometimes music doesn't hit in the spot that it should. Sometimes the audio just doesn't sound as good as I feel like it should. And not that like it sounds buggy or it just sounds like low effort. I just don't feel like they really like hit the nail on the head with it. There is a moment, which is in the trailer, so this isn't a spoiler, where somebody throws Doom Guy's helmet. And when it hits the ground in the game, it just kind of sounds like a plastic toy hitting the ground, where that audio and that music, it should feel like, oh my gosh, like, yo, the helmet just landed on the floor. It should make this big metal clank sound. And it just sounded like a plastic toy. And I'm like, that is such a great moment. That moment could be so special. It was kind of just, oh, okay. Like, it just didn't really hit the way it should have, and I feel like that was due to production, which is super duper unfortunate because, like I said, it was a fun moment. I really enjoyed it. I liked watching the cutscene, but it just didn't do anything for me. And so, yeah, for me, that goes in the mixed category. And there is a lot of things that I could say mixed-wise, like, oh, the pairing was a little bit, used a little bit too much, or the open explorable areas, weren't the greatest things. But, overall, when it comes to gameplay, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, there are a lot of other things I could probably say in the mixed category. Go watch the Player Way review if you want a more in-depth review. I think that's definitely a longer review. So make sure you go check that out. But let's get into the bad. And unfortunately, there is quite a bit here. And we're going to start with what personally was my biggest issue, and which is why I feel like this game didn't hit as hard as I wanted it to, and that is I did find the game a little bit repetitive towards the second half of the game. And this is due to a couple of reasons. Number one, the choice to take away the idea that you don't have to use specific weapons, meaning you could just use the same weapon throughout the whole thing. Granted, you could switch, but there really is no need to. I felt a lack of needing or wanting to switch weapons, And there was a big problem for me, and that is the enemy variety was just not there for me. I felt like the things I was facing in the first few chapters are the same things I'm facing in the last few chapters. And that's really unfortunate because Doom has so many great designs, so many cool things, so many cool characters, and I felt like we were just finding the same enemies over and over and over again. And yeah, I just really wish there was more variety within the enemy. There is a chapter where you go to like a new area and you start fighting new things, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go, we're getting some new enemies, and then they don't show up again after that chapter, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, then you just go straight back to what you were facing. The next thing for me is the boss battles in this game were a huge disappointment. Not in that the boss battles there were bad. Granted, I do think the final boss was kind of underwhelming. There's just not a lot of boss battles in this game. I can't remember any boss battles outside of the last 2 hours. I'll be honest. I don't even think there were boss battles outside of the last 2 hours. It wasn't until I reached that one of the first boss battles towards the end where I was like, hey, this is a boss battle. Have I done any boss battles yet? And I realized I don't think there's very many boss battles in this game. And I think that's really unfortunate because going in this medieval time, I would love to see some more bosses and some awesome things. And I do think that's also why the music, I feel like, didn't stand out to me as much, is because there were no boss themes. Like, I just wasn't getting any sort of cool boss moment, and there was a lot of repetitive enemy design going from chapter to chapter, and it's just really unfortunate. Real quick, one more thing I'm going to add in the mixed category. I'm actually going to put the giant mech and dragon segments in this. I was really looking forward to this, and I still enjoy them. I'm going to go back and play them again because I think they were really fun, but I do think they were super underdeveloped. It really is just dodge, punch, dodge, punch, or fly, shoot, fly, shoot. That's really all it is. I don't feel like there's very many great gameplay elements to it. Where it does end up going in the mixed category is there's a lot of great moments with these. I think the dragon has some cool moments. It actually has probably the most emotional moment within the game. Didn't know that it's even possible in a Doom game, but there it is. And then the mechs also have some really dope moments, like some just sick moments, man. So for me, I enjoyed it, but I think from a gameplay perspective, again, it was kind of just whatever. But the next thing that is bad is, I've already talked about it a little bit, so we're not going to talk about it much more, is just the story, the plot. It's just there. It's just there. They said they were going to be focusing more on it, and I feel like it didn't really help the game at all. It was really just there. I'll be honest with you. And I wish they did more, but at the same time, I don't really know what you can do without just making a whole like story-driven Doom game, and I just don't know if that's what people want, to be honest with you. So again, I don't really go to Doom games for the story, but it's there and it was weak, so it is bad to me. This is definitely going to be an interesting Doom game, like, just looking back at it once, like, smoke is settled and people have really collected their thoughts, because, like I said, Doom games are very different from one another. This is not like Eternal, this is not like 2016, this is very much its own Doom game, and I think that's going to benefit some people, and it's going to not work for some people. It's very different from Eternal, and it's very different from 2016, so, you know, for me, overall, when I think of this game, I had a blast. I had an absolute blast. I would probably say this is my favorite Doom game now, because I had that much fun with it. But I think from a game perspective, I just think there are a lot of issues, and I think there are a lot of things that I would change, or I wish they didn't do, or I wish they would add. There is a planned DLC, so maybe it can make up some of those things in that DLC. But for me, I absolutely adored the gameplay. I love just the vibe and aura that this game gives off. It is a complete dopamine rush. I enjoyed the OST for what it was. I enjoyed the mech and dragon scenes for what it was. There were some great moments spread throughout, especially in the last 2 hours. I think the last 2 hours is fantastic, outside the final boss. This game has a lot of greatness, but I did find it a little bit repetitive, and I did find that there were just some things that I wish hit a little bit harder, or were just tweaked a little bit to just make the overall experience a little bit better. So for me, this is going to be an 8.5 out of 10, which on our scale is a really great game, and I'm going to put it at the A tier. I wouldn't quite say it's an S tier game, but I do think it's an A tier game because I think it is super duper fun. It's super good. And that's one thing is, even people who like Eternal or 2016 more, they still say this is a good game because it is a good game. Like, if you don't think it's a good game, that's kind of crazy because it's Doom. The formula is just timeless. Like, it just works. It is. They continue to prove why it is one of the best at FPS and why Doom is the FPS game. So for me, it's going to be an 8.5. I had an absolute blast with this game. I think it's really great. And yeah, I'd love to talk about it a little bit more, but thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, definitely like, leave a comment section down below provided, and please subscribe. I will see you all in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.